All right. It is Friday, April 24th, 2026. It is 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on the West Coast. I am Brannon Beliso. This is Success Never Sleeps, where we as a collective, pretty much martial arts school owners, we're just trying to figure this thing called life, right? We want a successful business, a profitable business, a business that works for us, where we can provide for ourselves and our families and our teams and give back to the community. All very reasonable goals, but there's certain skill sets, there's certain learning, there's certain mindsets that will accompany to facilitate that. I mean, owning a small business is already a huge challenge to begin with, and it's riddled with strife and tribulations and difficulties. But with the right mindset, with the right skill set, everything's possible in managing those things and still scaling your business to the level of success that you believe works for you. Cool. And we're going to get into that today as we cover, we just came off our best quarter ever in business, pre-pandemic and everything. So I'm very excited to share the different things we've done to achieve that, and the mindset that goes with it. I don't think it's any one thing. I think it's everything. And that type of mindset to constantly look at your business from 360, that bird's eye view, and then boring down on the different parts that need to be addressed is super, super important. It's not one thing, it's everything. Cool. So let's begin by thanking our sponsors. Who do we have? Our sponsors are Tusa, right? I would, people I love, people I've done business with. My father started with them in the 90s. We continue to buy uniforms and belts and sparring gear from them until today. And I value my relationships. They mean a lot to me because we will face challenges. If someone's not missed a belt delivery or something, that you need right away, then it's just not realistic. Market Muscles, Steven Reinstein and the gang, the best when it comes to websites. And I know they've branched out and they've grown. They now have a CRM system. So it's an all-in-one package where you can take in leads, process them, bill them all through their CRM system that's now being supported with the website. And there's something unique about that integration and extremely powerful if and when it's done right. Kids love life skills. We all need a life skills component. And I highly recommend that you have one, because the minute we can move from being a extracurricular activity, right, for children, and parents see your martial arts school as an investment for their child, retention is improved, value is improved, right? Everything changes. That's why the culture, the language, we don't say payments. We don't say membership. We say tuition. Your tuition for your child's investment and personal development is, and then we give them the price. See where I'm going with that? Hey, what's up, Herman? How you doing, sir? Good to see them. LC Accounting, my sister, Letitia, she's just become the bookkeeper for Kin Creative. The other name you see then, I was telling Adam the other day, I said, my sister's tough. You better get ready. But she'll keep you profitable. She'll keep you in budget. She does all of that. She's, a black belt in Kenpo. She does jiu-jitsu. But my sister, Letitia, is on point. I say that from proof. She's been my bookkeeper for, I don't know, I guess a decade now, maybe. And she's always helped me to manage the different environments, from a mortgage crisis to the pandemic to, it's a balancing act, right? We know that with our money. And no matter what level you are of earning, it's still a balancing act. And you need somebody in your corner that's going to keep your feet on the ground, right? And advise you when you shouldn't be spending money and when you should. Cool. And last but not least, Kin Creative. The boys, Adam and them up in Canada, young kids between the ages of, I think, 17 and 26. And I love doing life with them. We grow together, and we're doing some incredible work for school owners in the martial arts industry that you need to spend money to make money. And if you think you're magically going to open your doors and people are going to come running in, it simply will not happen. And you have to market 70 ways to 70 people, not one way to 70 people. And in that mindset, in that process, I've understood since the pandemic that digital marketing is very important. Facebook ads, Instagram ads, your presence in your Google business page, right? All the different moving parts that go with it. So all these people I love and work with, I want to take a minute to just give them a heavy shout out today, because you don't do it alone. And these are part of my team. Cool. All right. So what do we got coming up? It's Time Live United. Super, super excited for that. I'm going to release it today. We do have a great discount, $199 off the 4-day experience. As soon as it goes up and you want to come, only 20 school owners, I encourage you to book. And United is each year we do a different theme. This year's United because I see in many ways our martial arts industry is very splintered and it's very segmented. Everyone's got their own little niche and group, and that's all going on, which isn't a horrible thing. But I believe united we stand, divided we fall, right? So I'd like to say united, not divided. So that's the whole theme. But that also pertains to your business every day. Systems, the team, customer service, culture, branding, personal development, wealth building, all of those things united create this amazing, amazing business that can provide you with your version of success. So when you see that link, get signed up for it. Cool. All right. Our It's Time group mentoring, we just had our call. I love it. I love what we do, because I think it's unique in the capacity that we very much customize what we do for each school owner. And that takes a lot of work. There's a whole lot to be said about that to create those moving parts. And we do it quite well. And so if you're looking for a mentor, not a consultant, it's pretty reasonable. I think it's about $5.99 a month. And we work with you. We're in your back pocket 24/7, 365. And we could really save you a lot of money in the long run by sharing with you our experiences, because we're all school owners working in real time, doing what you do every day. We do the same. But gratefully, I get to do it on a scale of $2 million a year and about 1,000 students. So I believe I have some insight that would definitely benefit you. Schedule a discovery call with any of us, Marco, Monique, Jason, or I, and we'll be happy to do that. Cool? All right. So as you're coming aboard, say hi. It's a great Mile High day. James Walker at Resilient Martial Arts and Herman. As you come aboard, say hello. I know we're out there spreading the love, spreading the word, letting people know here we are. Cool? So our first quarter, we just came off our best first quarter ever in business. Now, considering the environment of the world, I think that's a very impressive feat. But one quarter doesn't make a great year. So I'm that person. I'm not sitting back on our laurels. We're driving hard into April right now, right? I don't look at one good month as anything, one good quarter as anything, but success leaves clues. So one of the biggest things we did last year was I wanted to revamp our after-school program. Why? I want to max it out at 36 after-schoolers, right? At $800 a month, do the math. I do the math. That's what? 24? What is that, Marco? 36 times 8. That's 8 carry the 4. That's $28,800, right? A month, right? That's pretty amazing. And so if I can max that out, my profit margin would be better. I mean, that's more than some people make in just their martial arts classes a month, correct? So, but I recognize it needed an overhaul. It just did. We changed the after-school director. We revamped the program and made sure the homework was really getting done. We made sure to include worksheets if they didn't have homework to do, so the kids were still learning. We really went into the different activities and wanted to be extremely inclusive, right? I didn't want these, games, football, indoor football, and only the boys wanted to play. So we really went about revamping that. Even the way we communicate with the kids, in the way we reprimand them, or we lift them up, or we make course correction, even that became a factor. Now people look at me, why did you do all that? There was no guarantee you were going to make money from it. There wasn't. But I believed if we at least made those types of improvements in our after-school program, we were averaging about 23, 24 kids for a couple years in a row. And that's just not acceptable for me. If I can get it up to 36, everything's going to be different as far as profit-wise, right? And retention and referrals, everything, it's a ripple effect. Every one of those kids in that program has told somebody else about the program. Every one of those kids in that program, at least a handful, have done a birthday party and the band played on. So that became my pre-frame for everything else. I recognize if we're truly going to grow our schools, there's going to be disruption. Write it down. Okay? There's going to be disruption. When you make a change, it promotes uncertainty, It promotes questioning. It's not broke. Why fix it? Right? It promotes all of those things. And in that uncertainty, you might see a dip in your enrollment. You might see dissension with your team, all of which we experienced, right? All of it, all of it. But I can gratefully say today, I believe we're at 34 or 35 after schoolers. We're coming off a pretty successful year, and we've averaged about that 34, 35 since the semester started in September. And we'll continue to move forward with that. We max out at 36. Now, my next goal with that program is to get new tables, new chairs, just a bunch of things so parents see that we are improving because we are raising our tuition. We're raising it in September. Of course, there'll be some incentives for our existing after schoolers to return and take advantage of a better discount. But now I need to budget for things like that. And what I do believe is these after schoolers will go right into summer camp, which many of them do. And then they'll go right back into after school in the fall. So think about that. An idea that probably took about a year or so, has now added what, from 23 to 34, let's just say 11 new after schoolers times $800, right? That's $8,800 a month. Time that by 9 payments. So we've increased that program by roughly what, $75,000 on a year? That's a good improvement, right? Right? Absolutely. San Francisco, let me go over there for a minute. We don't have an after school program there, but we've been able to increase our revenue, and it's not a lot, but for the first quarter, we're up by $7,000. Now, it doesn't seem like a lot on paper, but it's a huge win for us because up until what? We were closed until 2022 because of the pandemic. I know even 2023, but with that came all of the fallout, the homelessness, people leaving the city, right? All of the robberies. It was a really bad scene in San Francisco. And I'm grateful to say it is turning around. Our numbers are getting better there. And I'm actually seeing more profit myself. So how did that happen? Well, I think number one, about a year or so ago, we decided we needed to completely overhaul our curriculum. Again, we're Kenpo, very, very top heavy with forms. And we recognize there's just way too many forms in year one and even in beginner. So we move these forms up into year 2, 3, 4, black belt, first degree, second degree, right? We didn't get rid of them. We just moved them. And in place of it, we really developed a curriculum that's basics centered, right? We have one stripe. All it is a front kick. It's a front kick on both legs. And then the defense is just a down block. That's all they're learning, is how to execute a front kick and how to block that front kick with the down block. That is it. That's one whole stripe for 2 weeks. Yes, the goal really became is trusting that we could build a number of drills around that technique so they never felt like they were simply doing a front kick. And that's really the art of great teaching, right? The art of great teaching is the ability to disguise repetition. So that was the first big revamp, which also helped because I now have Excellent Kids as 3 to 5 years old. Everybody knows about my Excellent Kid program. And with that Excellent Kids program, it's now 3 to 5, and it's full parent participation. So from the beginning of class to the end of class, there's a parent present. But now I'm dealing with the window of a 5-year-old who has nowhere to go because youth karate was too hard, right? That program, they technically can't enter until they're 6. But stay with me now. Hey, Bob, there you are. I was freaking out, man. Bob wasn't here. I was freaking out. Bob wasn't here. But now Bob's here. So now I can do the show. You want to start from the top, Marco? So now what used to be a 6-year-old minimum for youth karate, we can take him at 5. We have a 4-year-old moving to youth karate because he's that sharp. And again, if all you're learning is a front kick, all you're learning is a reverse punch, it's very pared down. The transition from Excellent Kids to white belt is the bridge has been, we've bridged the gap. That's the proper way to say that. So that part is really good. Second, we've now revamped the schedule. What used to be lots of white belt classes so that we can accommodate the convenience for the trials, we've now combined the white belt and year one class together. Yep, that we've done. That's what we've done. And in that, what it's allowed to do is once that student earns a yellow belt, they don't have to move to a different class day and a different class time. As we were looking at the numbers, it's like, I just started with your school. I've been here for a couple months. I got a yellow belt. Now you're telling me I have to disrupt my schedule and move to a different day and a different time. That alone has helped retention tremendously. Think about it now. From the day I enroll in your school, I can stay in the same class for up to what? 14 months now? That's pretty amazing. So I think that is finally taking hold. But again, stay with me, please. It didn't happen in a day. It didn't happen in a week, right? When you build a legacy business, it's something that is done over time. And to have the faith, and I'll call it faith because it's believing in what you can't see. When TJ and I sat down and had the conversation about, hey, we want to get rid of white belt only classes. That way we're going to offer them more classes because we're combining white belt and level 1. We can have more classes across the board. Wednesday, we have a back-to-back white belt beginner, white belt level 1, white belt level 1 class, back-to-back in one day, because that is where we're most top heavy. Most schools are top heavy in year one curriculum, right? Year one students. So that has been huge. And then last but not least, we recognize we make our most money, right, in that year one. I mean, we lose the most students in year one. That's a fact. That's a fact, right? So we want to get, and we also retain them the most once they get into rotating curriculum. Let me rephrase that. Once they get into the rotating curriculum, year 1, year 2, year 3, we have a better chance of keeping them. So as soon as you're in a yellow belt, there's no test. Once you got all 6 stripes, we automatically promote you to yellow belt. Boom, you get into the groove, the rotation. What I took pride on before, and you'll hear me on this because it was good intention, white belt only class. We want to meet you where you're at. We're going to let you work at your own pace. And when you earn a yellow belt is when you earn your yellow belt, right? But our system is designed where there's a learn week and there's an earn week. Once you earn that stripe, you move on to the next stripe. After 3 months, you review, make up stripes, and test out. Okay? What was happening was this kid who's all, catered to, small class environment, warm and fuzzy, he now got put into this big class of rotating curriculum. Now it's learn week, it's earn week, and it was just freaking them out. They were overwhelmed. So people were quitting. Once they got their yellow belt, in the next 6 months, our attrition rate was horrible. So guess what? In our white belt program, there's a learn week and there's an earn week. So that's also new. So they already get into the groove. Oh, this week I'm learning. Next week I'm earning the stripe. This week I'm learning. This week I'm earning the stripe. And the band played on, right? So that's become a very standard practice for us. And we're already seeing the impact. And it's amazing. And stay with me. Because we've simplified the curriculum, it's now opened the door for more kids that might have learning challenges. It's super cool because now this kid that might be somewhere, that has a learning challenge is empowered, right? If one of the stripes is a simple front kick and the defense of a down block, that's so simple. But again, it's having the confidence that you're a skilled enough instructor, a skilled enough architect to disguise the repetition. So they don't think they're doing a front kick for, 30, 40 minutes of the class. They feel like they're doing 20 different techniques. That is the goal. So we've witnessed that too. Again, I only teach on Thursdays, but now that I'm teaching more because TJ's on paternity leave, I have noticed more than I remember of kids with some type of learning challenge. I am definitely seeing that. So what that's telling us is the parents are confident with the curriculum we're offering, right? So their child can learn, focus, and feel empowered. And of course, we won't even lean into the life skills component. I doubled down and told my guys consistently, you need to pass out the student parent handout every class during the warm-up. Let them know, right? You got to do that. That's a must. It's non-negotiable. Non-negotiable, right? They weren't doing that consistently. You need to talk about the life skill throughout the whole class, not only in the beginning when we do the life talk. And you need to consciously award a badge to at least 1 to 3 kids at the end of every class. So that alone, hyper focusing on delivering the life skills at a higher level, is going to improve our retention, because they do come for the kicks and punches, but they stay for the life skills. That's a fact. That's a fact. And if you do it really, really well, and that's why I love our kids love life skills, but we fall off the wagon too. They weren't consistently doing it, right? Because understand, they're like a bucket with holes in it. That's just the way it goes. That's just the way it goes. And I'm okay with training and retraining and training people some more. Cool? So that's the curriculum overview. So that was after school. Like I said, San Francisco's up 7,000. Millbrae's up, I don't know, probably 30,000, right? San Francisco's at 250,000 on the first quarter, which means potentially San Francisco will actually gross $1 million. Millbrae looks like it potentially can do 1.4. So that's a good day. The hard part is we're coming up to the summer months, right? So we can't take our foot off the gas. We have to be more creative to find ways of generating revenue, getting more students through the door, and keeping the ones we have. Cool? I know that's a lot to embrace. So I want you to think about that for a moment. And as you come aboard, say hi. If you have a question, go ahead and post it in the comments. It takes a minute for it to show up, but post your questions in the comment and we will be happy to address them for you. So that became a big one, right? So look what we did. We revamped and overhauled the after school program. We pretty much revamped and overhauled our entire white to black belt curriculum. And I know that because I don't know how many hours I've done shooting and reshooting curriculum videos to get it right. Right? But again, this is the real work that needs to be done. Why? Because we make the bulk of our revenue from teaching martial arts classes. Is that not true? Right? The majority of the industry, the bulk of the revenue you generate comes from your martial arts instruction. So my challenge to you is, why don't you spend money and time and resources on constantly bettering that curriculum? Why? Why don't you constantly invest in and spend time and money and resources on your instructor development? Why? Right? Why? Because we take it for granted. We just teach. But again, my core product being martial arts instruction, I need to do that at a better level. And the Kaizen theory, right? Toyota uses it. It's a Japanese mindset. Constant improvement. Constant improvement. And I believe if you do that methodically, consistently, habitually, you are going to grow your school, because it's where we make our money. On the mat is where we make the money. But yet, no matter how much I've expressed that and worked with people, so little people in our industry revamp their curriculum. They might take on some new product, a new program of someone else's, and at the end of the day, it doesn't fit their culture or anything else, right? And I bet if I ask you to put it in the comments, how many of you have bought a program, I don't care what it is, Little Elephants or Little Pandas or something like that, or, gymnastics, karate, whatever, just to abandon it? Because you were looking for something new and shiny, when the real solution is go deep on what you love. Yeah? I was working with a school owner, I think it was New Mexico, Arizona, and he stood outside the front of his school, and he had all of that, right? Little Pandas, gymnastics, karate, cardio, kickboxing, all these different logos adorned his window, right? The program logos that he used. And then I asked him a question, because he had about 115 students. I said, "What do you have a black belt in, sir?" And he stood up tall and his chest puffed out. "Third degree WTF Taekwondo, sir." And I went, "And why aren't you teaching that?" "Well, because I wasn't making money with it, sir." And I said, "Well, you just didn't figure out how to make money with it, right?" And so then we methodically took all these logos off his window, hyper-focused on his Taekwondo, which he loved, and just learned how to teach it age-appropriate, skill level appropriate. And then everything came together. So again, don't look for what's new and shiny. And if you haven't revamped your curriculum in at least a year to 3 years, you need to get on it. You need to get on it. Okay. And with that, we wrote the whole white belt experience, the whole trial experience. TJ rewrote it because they do it every day. And no matter how famous I am in my own mind, if I'm not teaching an intro every day, I can't say honestly with total confidence that the intro I wrote still works. It's the first generation we have that has not been off a device, born into it. First generation. And we won't even throw in the pandemic. So people are learning differently. Yeah, I have a walking pad, James. I walk. I walk. Yeah, I love this walking pad. I should have got it years ago. It allows me to multitask. I do, I don't know, at least 8 to 10 hours of Zoom a week. And so it allows me to get in some steps while I'm talking. Plus, the beauty of it, James, I used to take all my business calls and I'd do a loop on the map, right? I'd get my AirPods and I'm talking to clients. I like to walk when I talk because it aligns the left and right brain when you're walking. So I actually have better answers. I'm more engaged. I'm more focused. And I'm able to be optimal. Yeah. Yeah. I love it. And it's a walking pad. It's not a treadmill. It's much different than a treadmill, the way it behaves and reacts. But I digress. So again, but it also required me to buy my own camera rig, right? I got my own camera, my own lighting, my own Rode microphone, which I think is phenomenal. Rode mic if you don't have it. And I methodically go about recording our videos. I do them all alone in the studio by myself. And I work better that way. But with it, Marco will know it because he helps author all of them for me. There are redos. The guys will catch things, because I don't have a director sitting there, right? Catching mistakes. So I have redos. But overall, I think we did what, Marco? 72 videos, something like that, plus the 6 beginners. So 78. Out of the 78 so far, I think I've had maybe, 12, 15 redos. And that's not bad. But again, what it allows us to do is revamp the curriculum, test it in class in real time in a given cycle, and go, this worked and this didn't. Then I have a whole year to re-review the video and get it right. Are you with me? So again, I think it's very important if you're going to dedicate yourself to always keeping your curriculum relevant and updated, you need to have the tools to support that. And often we wouldn't revamp our curriculum because I was waiting to have enough money to pay some videographer 20 grand to shoot 4 years worth of curriculum, edit it, and deliver me a product. It's no longer that way now. Because remember, you're not shooting, a full-length movie. You're doing an industrial video. It's simply an instructional. You need one shot. That's it. You just need to present it well. Okay? So that was a big one. That was a big project, redoing all the curriculum videos, because I do understand the reason we were stagnant, the reason we weren't getting to that next level, because we hadn't addressed the curriculum in years, right? And that led me down other roads. We tightened up our brand. Go look at our onemartialarts.com. We tightened up our brand message. We're now moving that into all of our handouts. We're moving from black and white photos to color, right? Because color still works within our brand, our messaging. And now with the leverage of AI, I can go down deep. I can take any given URL and say, tell me why this doesn't appeal to a mom with a 6-year-old kid looking for martial arts classes. And what do I need to do? And you know what the 3 top search words are for a mom, or make them feel warm and fuzzy? Safe, supported, and clean. Go look at my website. We worked in the words safe, supported, and clean, right? Go figure. That makes a mom happy, and that's something that she wants. Cool. So that was a very big one for us. So we overhauled the after school program. We overhauled our curriculum, right? We did all the curriculum videos. We changed our schedule. We rewrote the white belt experience. We worked the white belts into a level 1 class so they don't have to leave for 14 months. And when they get a yellow belt, they simply move into the rotating curriculum. The sooner we can get them into the rotating curriculum and into the groove of where our highest retention is at, the better we're going to be. You with me? The better we're going to be. And we didn't miss the step there. Year 2 is appropriate age and skill level. Year 3, it's all laid out now in such a way that progressively we're seeing lower attrition, higher retention. Cool. And again, If you don't believe the bread and butter is your classes, you're sadly mistaken. That's where we make the bulk of our revenue. So it's not glamorous, but spending the time based upon feedback from your team, based upon people quitting, based upon why they stay, and developing a curriculum that satisfies all those needs, including your own personal ones. I need them to learn self-defense or whatever that might be. We are in a different position. Yeah. $250,000 in San Francisco. And in the first 2 months, I haven't seen that ever. So San Francisco might truly get back to $1 million, right? Truly. For the first quarter. Like I said, we've done it with the second, third, and fourth to do $1 million in San Francisco, but never in just the first quarter like this are we at 250,000. Okay. The next one is events. That was a big one too. And I was talking to one of our clients at Kin today, and we used to do this event. We used to do that. And I did this one time. Said, that can't be it. You need to do retention events every month. Because, of course, one of the talking points with a new student or a new parent is to be able to say, hey, this month we have the spring egg hunt. What does that cost? Nothing. It's what we were a community. We provided for our families, and come on down, take a picture with the Easter Bunny and egg hunt with us. What are we having in May? Mom and me. What are we having in June? Father's Day, right? Every month you should have some type of retention event that you can direct a new student to partake in. And of course, you serve it to them through a text, through an email. You announce it in class. They go, wow, there's not only classes here. I'm getting this opportunity to create a memorable experience with my child in the form of a mom and me party. Yes, you are. So we're very disciplined about that. We haven't been in the past since the pandemic. I will be the first to admit that, because we didn't have the bandwidth. We lost a lot of staffing during the pandemic, and all we were focusing on was teaching. But I recognize that is not enough. It's really about getting people, for the lack of the better word, not to buy in, but to believe in the culture you offer. And anytime you create the opportunity to create a memorable life experience, people remember that. People remember that in ways that you can't even begin to quantify, right? We think if we upgrade them to a black belt club or they get their next belt, that's retention. No, retention is hello at the front door. Retention is stopping, right? And acknowledging that student. I had one yesterday, a brand new yellow belt. I didn't know who he was. I highlighted and spotlighted that kid. I had him lead the class, and I had him to break a board. Now, hyper-focused, but I believe I improved the retention opportunity with this one family yesterday with this new yellow belt. You with me? And those are the things that I think we don't quantify because we don't see instant gratification. And being a business owner of this business for 25 years, 10 in Millbrae, I'm a legacy business. I'm not in it for the quick fix and instant gratification. I'm in it for the long run. You with me? Yeah, and until they age out and go to college or whatever the case may be, we're having students stay with us longer and longer and longer because we are truly that extended family that people see. So go through your event calendar. I think that's a big one, right? Mom's night out, not just parents' night out. Do a mom's night out, right? Do a dad's night out. Do a Nerf ball. Do a Nerf gun. Whatever works for your culture. The point is utilizing it in such a way where people think it's added value will improve your retention, right? Ours is $279 for twice a week. Beyond that, I don't pay belt testing fees. Nope. There's no enrollment fee. Nope. There isn't. And every month I can come to this free event. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. And all these things add up. But again, I think the mindset is people are stepping over $1 to pick up a penny. I'm going to do this parents' night and charge $20. It covers the pizza and the staff. No, the pizza and staff is part of my marketing dollar. That's how I view it. Because again, I think it's like taking a girl out to dinner, then making her pay half the bill. There's something magical when you can pick up the bill, right? It's the same thing here. You really want to endear your tribe to you. You want to get your tribe to believe in you. And that really requires an investment, both time-wise, monetarily wise. I can't express that enough. As we say all the time, people don't care what you know until they know that you care. Cool? All right. So events is a real big one I want you to take a look at. Okay? Think of those events and challenge yourself to put one on the calendar each month that is geared towards retention. Now, if you want to do one for lead generating, that is fine too. That is fine too. What else? Donations, I think, have really helped our enrollment, endeared people our retention. We sponsor Little League teams. We donate to crab feeds. We donate to fundraisers. And I think the big mistake school owners make, because they're thinking about getting new students, they will donate to these silent auctions, things like 2 weeks and a t-shirt. We have 6 of them to auction off. Nobody wants that. Look at me. Nobody wants that. Why? Because they're not in the state to buy martial arts classes. But a premium birthday party valued at $800, we have every silent auction knocking down our doors for that. They want a week of our camp, our summer day camp. That's something every parent's going to use. Are you with me? And the visual exposure to be on the slideshow of our sponsors, to be announced by the auctioneer that we have this, to be on the website saying, One Martial Arts has donated a week of camp or a premium birthday party, has a lot of legs. Does it produce students right away? Probably not. Probably not. But I think the positioning that it offers our business, if and when somebody is, looking for martial arts classes for their kids, we are the first on their mind. So what does that lead me into? Again, going back to the legacy business mindset, I want to be viewed as an investment. And we know with many of our investments, we don't get a yield on our return for months, sometimes years. In some cases, like a home, until you sell it, decades. So again, that mindset shift has been huge in that capacity of being very disciplined to look at each request from an elementary school or a different fundraising group and being very diligent about that. And I think it's just such a wonderful thing when a school can count on you year after year after year. And they come to you with that confidence and knowingness that you got their back and you're ready to give. Cool? Another big one we're already booking is our kindergarten meet and greets. I don't look at summer as dead months. I look at summer as an opportunity, to do a lot of things. For us, number one is day camp. That definitely makes up for all the people that go on vacation and go on hold, right? That's a big one. For those of you with less than 100 students, 3 months in a uniform for $399, something like that, all day, every day. Odds are they may not sign up because they're going to have sticker shock when they see your regular monthly tuition price. That can happen, but it's extra revenue you need during the summer. I believe what makes school owners really old, really fast, is the stress that they often deal with in the summer and not having the income, right? Not having that income. So there's many ways to treat that. There simply is. And then, of course, momentum, setting up things for the summer, because I believe with the way the economy is today, a lot of people won't be going away this summer. They're talking about airfares are going up 20%, right? Because of the petrol. The jet fuel. So I want to be mindful of that. So to put a lot of things in place this summer that help parents feel like they get this staycation. And we did that 1 year with camp. That was my whole marketing platform, right? The best staycation ever. The One Kids Fun Camp. And I think a lot of people are going to be home. They are, because they have to tighten up their bootstraps and their belt strap and save money. So what can you do with that? I think there's a number of things. Even if you don't do traditional day camps, there's a multiple 4-hour things you can do on a Saturday afternoon so mom can go to the spa, different things like that. But I think what I'm trying to share with you coming off this first quarter where we're at is that we are constantly investing back into our business, into our team in many, many ways. And that, I believe, is one of the reasons why. Good month, bad month, our dedication to bettering our business, to bettering our team, to investing in our facilities and painting it and cleaning it and upgrading it can't be, there's no negotiation there. That is a brand absolute. Because when your regular members walk in after Memorial Day weekend and your whole school is painted and fixed up and looking good, that's a good day. That's a good day. And it's the same thing here. Again, we think the fix is just, run a Facebook ad with this company that guarantees you 1,000 students in 2 weeks, right? The newest one I saw, which I think is really just like, wow. We get lazy martial arts school owners, 20 to 30 students. Has anyone seen that? Digital marketing? Yeah. So one, they're letting you know you're extremely lazy, and even if you are, they're going to get you students. That to me is not responsible marketing. For me, it doesn't work, but that's just me. That's just me. So I think it's very important to look at your business holistically, look at it as a whole, look at it from 360-degree view, and understand it's not any one thing that moves the needle. It's all of it. It's all of it, right? We upped our game on our instructors training. That was a big one too, to get us this first quarter. They deliver the product. They deliver the product. That's a no-brainer, right? Or so you would think. That's a no-brainer. But no. So to be consistently disciplined to train your team, to teach your curriculum at the highest level, to teach them to communicate with your students better, to teach them to serve should be a dedication. Any great company has a university built into it where they're constantly training their people, improving their skill set, right? Which offers them a better path of advancement. How do I go from being, an after-school helper to running a full school? Do you have the pathway for that, right? I think that's important as well. So that's kind of summarizing our first quarter and why or where we are. I know you were looking for some Hail Mary pass, this one all end all be all thing, but it's not. It's not. And what I've learned in 25 years of business, it's easy to get to the top of the mountain. It's hard to stay there. And the numbers we do aren't easy, right? We work really hard to achieve the numbers we do, really hard. And I'm cool with that because that's how you succeed in life and business, right? That's how you succeed. But I'm grateful to say I'm standing here on a treadmill talking to you guys, right? There you go. All right, so let's get those questions going, Marco. Let's see what people have for us today. If you have any questions, put them in there. In the interim, I'm going to start talking about some of the things going on. It's Time Live United. I'm going to release that link today. 20 school owners, 4 days in November. It's been such an awesome event the past couple of years, and some of you have been there. It's just beautiful. To spend 4 days not in Las Vegas, to spend 4 days in an intensive of personal development, wealth building, branding, systems, staff development, all the moving parts I believe need to be there to better your chances of being successful are there at its time. And this one's called United because I believe united, not divided, especially in our industry. It's so splintered and separated. Come spend 4 days with us. I'll put the link shortly. And when you see it floating around social media, there's a $99 discount for those 20 spots. Cool? All right. Our mentoring, again, I'm proud of the team. We're small but mighty, and we're having big impact, right? We don't have hundreds of clients, but I know the work we're doing is meaningful, and the work we're doing is adding tremendous value to everything going on. So put your question in there if you got any questions. Post them in. I'll be happy to answer them for you. All right. I don't see any questions, so we're doing pretty good. I've been trying to keep the show under an hour, and we've done it again. So what did we get out of today? What's the biggest takeaways? Well, I know in my business I have to wear a lot of hats, and I have to wear them well, really well. 2, I don't do it alone. The input from my valuable team, their contribution to our businesses is phenomenal. So I need to create a vehicle where my team is successful. Because if the team's successful, they're going to take care of the clients. Ask yourself, honestly, are you genuinely taking care of your team? And in most cases, it's simply you can't afford to. So what is it going to take to get to that level in your business to do that? I've always used the number 300. 300, I can pay somebody 6 figures, take really good care of them, create a career for them, and they won't need to leave, right? I have TJ and Lucas as my primary leads. That's why we have 2 locations. If I had 2 more TJ and Lucases, we would open 2 more. right? Because I know what type of money it takes to attract that type of talent and to keep that type of talent, right? So that's one of my biggest takeaways is we go through all these motions just to see this huge turnover in our team. And again, I make my most money on the floor. And when I have a seasoned instructor who has dedicated himself and this is their life, their performance is unequaled. Their delivery, their execution, all of it is a whole nother level. But it costs money to do that. Cool. So that's one of my biggest takeaways, is that we wear a lot of hats and you have to learn to wear them well. And if you're not working in Canva to do your flyers and things like that, I encourage you learn Canva. If you're not working with some sort of AI to help write your social media posts, help you write systems and all the rest, I encourage it. Because all of it is leverage to help you be more successful at what you do. And it requires a certain skill set, right? And that skill set never ends. It's always being developed. It's always being cultivated. It never ends, just like your martial arts training. Cool? All right. So if you don't have any questions, I see nothing coming in there. Let's wrap up this big dog, Marco. So where can you find me, folks? You can find me lots of places. This podcast, of course, we have almost 10 years. 10 years of this podcast. You can find it at Apple, Amazon, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and Stitcher. And people have simply watched our shows and they've been able to create a successful business. Yep. In today's world, people have just simply never hired me for a thing, never came to my event. They just watch all the stuff I post and it's impacted their businesses tremendously. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, as we said here. Follow me at Instagram. Join our Disruptor group or join our group mentoring group at Facebook. A lot of good information designed to do what? Help you grow your business and be a better version of yourself. Cool? And for everything else, go to BrannonBeliso.com. Thank you for being here with us today, taking your valuable time to spend with us on the show. Something great when people are live with me versus just simply talking to an abyss, knowing people will watch it later. But to see your faces here and see your names here, I'm extremely grateful. Cool. I am Brannon Beliso, folks. This is Success Never Sleeps. Until we talk again, please, 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 you go out there, live your best life.